What up, though, everyone?
What's
Welcome
up?
to We the Blueprint.
I'm gonna take my mask off.
All right, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Welcome to the We the Blueprint COVID edition.
What? COVID edition.
Yeah, you had your mask on.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
What's up? I'm Joe. This Ant.
Yeah.
What we gonna talk about today?
Here you go so fast, brother.
I'm ready to get it started.
Oh, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Now, we're going to talk about today, just saw a little article, a video about the black dollar.
Uh-huh.
We have a $1.6 trillion spending power.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also talking about our lack of investment as a community, saving as a community. We spend a lot,
Right.
but we're broke. We're broke. How can we solve it, brother? How can we educate each other on money?
Well, the education is simple for the simple fact of that it's popular right now. Entrepreneurship is popular right now.
But we steady spending still.
Getting it. Well, I'm just saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Getting
go
the
ahead.
word out as far as
Mm-hmm.
because exposure is the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So more people are being exposed to people with their own businesses, whether it be full-time or part-time,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be small-time or on a high level. We all know somebody that has a business, like I say, whether it's a full-time job or a part-time job,
Mm-hmm.
or part-time business, I should say. So what we have to do is continue to, first of all, I think just take a chance. A lot of us are scared to even get started on different stuff. We'll research it to death and know the ins and outs, but just scared to take that first step.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing. Another thing I think is that we have to go in areas where we that are foreign to us, meaning areas that we don't know a whole lot about, or maybe even anything about, such as the tech space. It's, with metaverse and NFTs and the way that the internet is growing, we have to, because we're on the internet all the time, but we're not capitalizing on it. So I think, not just young people, but all of us need to, if you have an idea, figure out how you can make it happen, maybe with using tech as a vehicle to get it done.
Mm-hmm. But my main question is, we got all these trillions of dollars, 1.6, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But our money is leaving so fast out our hands and out our community. The lack of home ownership, which is probably one of the top two things of leaving generational wealth or having generational wealth for your next generation down the line, is home ownership, along with, I believe, life insurance. Why are we just always, as a community, why are we always want the now and never plan out anything 5 to 10 years, 15-year plan?
That's a good question. I think that we don't do it because we want the now because we see the now. We don't see, like for instance, say if you 30 years old, the average 30-year-old is not thinking about their parents passing. You see what I'm saying? So you're not necessarily wanting to start building or putting together, because you think you're gonna last a long time. You think you're gonna live a long time. So I think that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Until something happened and then you're doing a GoFundMe or something like that. Then you realize the importance of it.
But we see all these GoFundMe's for years now. People dying early.
People they don't think it's gonna happen to him.
Yeah.
Just like the entertainers.
But I look
entertainers and athletes, they do it behind the music or 30 for 30.
Yeah.
The stories are the same. The names just change.
But I'm looking at the Hispanic groups, right? And you know, I had this discussion with a guy in the barbershop a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
They come from similar backgrounds. They just haven't went through slavery and all that Jim Crow stuff. But I know we pay the doors for everybody.
Right.
Every other racial group that of color. But their community, when they spend their money, it stays in their community. They do a good job of being one in their community.
Right.
When they have a complex, majority of the buildings in that complex be for their community.
Right.
They have their own grocery stores, laundromats be owned by them, restaurants. Down the line, any small business you can think of, little small supply shop, appliance shop, I mean, anything you can think of, they can service their community.
Right.
And that money staying in their community, so it help feed each other. Why haven't we got to that point? No, I ain't gonna say why we haven't got to the point, because we was there before. How can we get back to that part? Because I think since they capitalized on selling us the material stuff, the name brand stuff, that we want it, and that's all we want, instead of thinking about the future. Because as soon as you get it, all that stuff end up not being stuff you want later on, and it become a liability instead of an asset.
Right.
So how can we get to that point again of being that one community to build like economics up?
We had to talk to each other. We had to start with the kids. And you had to show them. You had to teach them. And we had to, even the older, we got to teach each other. So it's gonna be a slow walk. It ain't gonna be overnight. It might not be in your lifetime.
So,
but we can spark it now, and it'll increase with each generation.
So I know we like to say we got to sell everything, but
right.
For our community, I believe if we gonna give back, it can't have no price on it.
What do you mean?
You know, you see to educate people on it, you know, people want to charge to teach, right? What they know. But for me, I believe somebody will have to sacrifice that payment, or a group will have to sacrifice that payment for our community to grow.
Right.
To that get back to that community part.
Right. Yeah.
And are our people willing to do that part?
Well, I mean, you're gonna have some people that's gonna charge for it, and then you're gonna have other people that are just gonna put it out there. It's kind of like catch-22, because some people, if it's free, they ain't gonna pay no attention. But it's like the saying, you gotta have skin in the game, right? If you got money on the line, you're gonna sit there, and you're more likely to take advantage of whatever it is that somebody is telling, because you don't want to lose your investment, or you want your investment to go to waste.
I disagree how people be thinking, because I talk about investments all the time.
Right.
So if I tell a person, I give you this 2 to 5 year plan, if you do X, Y, and Z, you can have this amount of money. I'm telling you, 99% of them would never do it, even if they paid for it or it was free.
Yeah. No, I disagree. If they paid high enough, they'd do it.
But that's the problem. They ain't gonna pay.
Well, that's what it is. Like I say, it's gonna be a slow walk. You can't help everybody.
I know we can't help, but how do we make it the norm than more popular.
Be the example. That's really all you can do.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do is be the example. Help the ones that you can help, and the ones that you can't worry about it.
Yeah.
You can't worry about it.
I know you can't worry about it, but I ain't even thinking about the worry about it part. It be like, I hate to say it, I'll be on the part, I'll get to the point like, the hope for the community is almost to no hope.
Nah, it's some hope. When you look back at, I think, what's going on now, if you look back at it from maybe 10 years from now or 20 years from now, you'll see a lot was started in this time, and you'll see the benefits of it later on down the line.
Okay, this is what I see actually. I get what you're saying.
There's a lot that's bubbling right now.
A lot of stuff, I say, during the COVID time from like 2020.
Right.
I think a lot of black millionaires got made, right? But if you compare to all the black...
A lot of black millionaires got what?
Got made. A lot of black people became millionaires.
Yeah.
Excuse me for that. But if you look at the amount of black millionaires that people became black millionaires during that time, compared to other communities,
right,
that percentage is minute.
It's always gonna be minute though.
Why?
Cause we behind. Cause we catching up.
How are we catching up? If our numbers, our spending numbers going up, right? Our spending numbers going up,
right?
But the money in saving and investment is going backwards, and home ownership is going backwards. How is we catching up?
First of all, I don't believe everything that they be talking about statistically about our communities.
I kind of don't either, but it got to be a little truth to it, because they do keep up. I believe they do. They know where our money, if we keep the money in the bank and we buying these homes, it's saying it's in our names.
Right.
So I think it's easier because that's public record also.
But is it accurate though? Is it the truth?
I believe it's close to accurate.
I don't know.
Now, if you're talking about population-wise, I don't think that's accurate. But
this is what I know. You can always take, basically you can make numbers appear what you want them to appear.
Yeah.
And they be accurate, but you've taken a different segment of a particular group and just ran that number, and you ain't run it for the entire whole group. You see what I'm saying?
But
let's say, for instance, that it is true, which I don't necessarily believe that it is, but let's say that it is.
Okay.
Then we just got more work to do. But I don't see how in this generation, with this much information that we have out, with more of us making higher salaries than ever before, especially black females.
But they are in debt too.
Yeah, then
you making more money, but you paid to go to that school.
Right.
So that means you in more debt.
Right.
So that money is not really, you probably ain't really gonna see your money to feel comfortable. You out of debt and not stressed and all that.
So on paper you good, but you still struggling.
You struggling check to check basically.
Right.
Cause you in debt.
Yeah.
If you owe anybody a penny,
right,
that's too much. You feel me? So I look at it. You can make 100,000 or 200,000, but if you got still a car, student loans, a house, a mortgage, if that's about 3 or 400,000 right there,
yeah,
it's not balancing itself out at all. And then you got your other expensive, you know what I mean, expenses. So I'm like, it's still not enough to catch up. Like I was telling, I be looking at things totally different. Like I think in order to try to reverse it, we got to start promoting more marriage in our community, because a two-person household, especially a marriage, that mean more money. That mean also you might have a better outcome in kids. I think it can create more entrepreneurs.
Right.
It'll be a little stress on the parents, and the kids feel like they have to do more quickly.
Right.
And also you can set up little accounts, teaching them a little more. One parent may know more than the other parent on this subject, or vice
Right.
versa. So I think we got to promote that marriage again in the family. I know everybody want to be in this polygamous relationships now, but our community is not meant for our community at this time, because
Right.
we're going backwards. Like what are we building for? You know what I mean? If you got, you got 2, 3 wives, or a woman got 2 or 3 husbands, what's the outcome? You know what I mean, for our community?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody can tell me that, I'd be willing to listen. What's the community building on that part? How we gonna build our community up?
Right.
Because we always steady giving that money right back out. I don't care if you get that 500,000, making 500,000, $1 million a year.
Right.
What majority of that spending going to? Is it going to a black business?
Right.
Is it in a black bank? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I definitely agree that we need to spend with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't have to be where you spending everything. You know what I mean?
No, 'cause that's impossible.
If you just start with just some small things, whether it be clothes or, jewelry or just little knickknacks that you would get from somebody else, just buy it from
Right.
from one of us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you something simple as a T-shirt, just go buy it from one of us.
Right.
I mean, it's that simple.
That's why you need more colors.
And pay. It's coming soon.
Okay.
And pay full price for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't. It's certain people that I follow, and I hate to see them because they have good information.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate to see them, hop on with, Gucci or Prada or Dior or whatever else. Because to me, it's like, I don't know. I mean, people can wear what they want to wear, but
Yeah.
my personal opinion is, to me, that's like some clown stuff.
But I don't want to call it clown, because I think like you, but then I don't think like you on that. For the instance, like, are they trying to reach your demographic, age demographic, right? So I'm guessing, I'm assuming, if they're trying to reach the younger folks, the youth, right, to teach them,
Right.
they might need to. I'm just assuming, because I'm not in my, I'm in my 30s, so I'm not a teen or 20, so I don't know what can reach them in that way, financial way.
I don't think that's why they do it, though. I
'Cause
don't think that's why they do it.
I don't know why they do it. That's a good. I always want to say that I would like to ask why,
Right.
because I think that's a waste of money. You can do what you want to do with your money per se, but if we talking about community building, because that's what a lot of them main thing they talk about, our
Right.
community, that don't look right for our community.
No, it's contradictory.
Right. But if they trying to use that as a tool to reach the youth, then I can see that part if they trying to do it.
Right.
But like you said, it do be clownish to me too.
Right.
So that's a dilemma with me, because I'm like, I never cared about material stuff, so they ain't gonna never reach me. But I like money, making money.
Right.
So that's what I focus on.
Yeah.
But if they trying
And
to
I
reach
can
the
see your
youth-
point. I mean, look, we've had conversations before, and I do think that you have to, in order to appeal to people, you do have to present yourself in a certain way. But I don't think it has to be through designer type stuff.
Right.
You know
I
what
agree
I mean?
with you.
Now, I don't think people, unfortunately, you could be frugal with your money and still be trying to reach the community. And you will reach some people, but you're not going to reach as many people as if you feel like, as if you come across a little bit more extravagant.
Yeah, and that's good. Or if you, I think, and that's what I'm thinking. If you frugal with your money, I think your age of trying to reach people, it have to be at a middle school age, right? I think if you trying to reach high schoolers and and college students, you might have to put on the designer, if that's who you really trying to reach,
Right.
to show them you doing it. I'm assuming you can still, if you're frugal and not flashy,
Right.
you can still reach a few college and high school students, but if you show a little flash, you can reach more. I'm guessing. I
Yeah.
may be wrong, but I'm talking about for our community, just our community. So I think that is a dilemma
Yeah.
in the whole. I may be wrong.
I don't know. I
don't
mean, like I
know.
say, just personally for me, it comes across.
Yeah, I agree with you,
A
but
certain
we
way
are
that-
older too, though.
Yeah.
So we look at.
But even when I was younger, it didn't really. But I'm different. It didn't.
And that's how I am too. I'm different. I never been a materialistic person. I can afford it.
Right.
Just to let people know we
Yeah.
ain't hating. We can afford it if we want to buy it. But for years we could. But I just never been that person, man. I rather stack up, save, and when I want to do something, I
Right.
can do it and not even have no worries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been that guy. I'm different on that note.
So how many of us you think have the potential to invest, whether it be a business or a property or land or whatever else, but don't do it for the simple fact of the intimidation or fear of it because they really don't understand it?
I think that's majority. And also, I believe too, I don't know the percentage, but a lot of us in our community, a lot of times we be the first ones with a little money, if you may have a little money. A lot of times you be the first one, so you go by your childhood traumas with money, right? So if you come up struggling, which from the numbers, a lot of us struggling, you gonna take care of your money a certain way.
Right.
I think you're gonna spend a little bit more because you want stuff you never had before. So that money gonna leave.
Right.
So I think due to the politics of the United States and how they set up our community, plus what we have done to ourselves, made it that way in general for us to spend.
Right.
So my thing is, how can we make it kind of popular to not be that spender that they kind of created?
Right.
And I don't want to give them that much power, but it is what it is. And we fall into their trap. Like, we give free advertisement to so many companies,
Right.
billion dollar companies, because it be the same people own all these same companies.
So speaking of companies, what happened to after George Floyd and everybody was kumbayaing and all the companies were talking about how they was gonna diversify and do business with all these other black businesses, and I ain't heard nothing about that. Seemed like that fizzled out.
Well, that's business though.
Yeah.
They got to lie to keep it going. Because remember, at that same time, I'm telling you, they keep up with the numbers.
Right.
And they understand blacks were spending money with black people. So if they losing, if another different race loses a few people who could be millionaires and we gaining millionaires, they don't want that to happen because they want all that 1.6 trillion. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they got to stop that some type of way, because we ain't the only ones on Amazon selling stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean? Or whatever company it may be. So they got to stop it, man.
Yeah.
Because we are what make them stay wealthy, and it is what it is. So business-wise, they smart by doing that.
Yeah.
Go ahead and lie. Make a few people a few 100,000 or $1 million. You make a few people rich.
Let somebody be the face for a while.
Well, make a little bit of face for a while. While we making 1 or 2 people rich, we're gonna make 10 to 20 of us. So 20 to 1.
Right.
What they do, we still failing. And I always say, until we build a real community, because I still don't feel like we have a real community.
Yeah.
2022. I feel like we should, if some people want to stay in the city, you can stay in the city or whatever city it is, but it can be a black area, because every city, major city, got a white area in their main city.
Right.
Like Atlanta got Buckhead, where the white people stay, you can say white people. And they also got the suburbs where they stay.
Mm-hmm.
Why we don't have the same?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's how I look at it. We should be able to do both. And I think we can.
So what's the one thing somebody could do like right now, this very second, to start on their journey with economic empowerment?
I think it can't be one person.
So they need to join up with somebody else?
I think it got to be at least a group of, if you go by major cities, say the top 30 major cities
Mm-hmm.
of black communities, I think at least got to be 100 people. Put some real money up
Yeah.
and get them moving. And that's how it have to be. Because one person can't change this.
Well, they ain't gonna meet nobody tonight. So what? Aside from that, what they can do?
What you mean? What they can do about
What else can they do? Cause it take a minute to find somebody like-minded.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I don't think it take a minute. Not with the internet. It's many people.
Yeah.
I think first of all, the trust. We got to trust each other. Really understand it's enough for all of us. And not be afraid to talk about money.
Yeah.
You know, I talk about money all the time. And in the barbershop, I've been doing it for 12 years now. And sometimes I be feeling like I'm the only person and be on that. And I hate that. I be wanting,
But see, I understand what you're saying, but I think that sometimes you have to get it on your own before you can join up with somebody else. Because, you know, in our community, we pocket watch a lot.
And that's why we behind.
So you coming in to a situation not really necessarily wanting to build. You say you really to build, but you really ain't willing to build. You just trying to get a quick check. You see what I'm saying? But if you've already got it on your own, then I think your vision is a little bit different, and you willing to do something for the greater good, because on your own you good anyway. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think at that same time, if you grind it by yourself individually, I think you have less trust for the ones that's not doing it with you.
You think so?
Yeah,
I don't see it that way.
I think so.
I don't see it that way.
Because you had that I did it by myself attitude.
Well, first of all, in my opinion, that'd be a bunch of bull anyway.
I understand that.
Whenever you people say I did it by myself,
ain't nobody
I'm
do
self-made,
anything.
I got it out the mud.
I agree with
somebody
helps you out.
Somebody helped you out.
You never do
Even if it was just an encouraging word, somebody did something.
You never do anything by yourself.
It's impossible.
Right, I agree with you on that. But we're talking about reality and egos.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Some people got some huge egos, feel like they just better.
Well, that's gonna be with anything.
You, I know, but when it's that group, I know you done stuff as a group. Anything, just like being on a sports team, when you do it together,
right,
you bring each other up.
Right. Well, I mean, doing it together definitely makes it easier.
Just think about it like this. When the biggest sports is not individual sports, if you really look at it, it's always team sports.
Right.
when they talk about best athlete, they don't never say just Serena or whoever the tennis players or golf players.
Right.
It's always a team sports.
Yeah.
Because more people relate to a team. You know what I mean? Because more people can play at one time and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So if you look at it that way, you know, Serena or Venus or whoever, they can say they can be self-made because they up there by themselves.
Right.
But when you see a person on the team, they always shouting out their teammates, their coaches.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I think it is a different if you come up as a group or a team or whatever.
Right.
But that's why I said what I said.
So that's your homework for the people at home, to partner up with somebody, find a
Absolutely.
community.
Find a community, build a community.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of people like-minded. We never the only ones have the same, thinking the same, had these thoughts, you know what I mean? So we just got to get together, man. And I know it's some apps out there or whatever that I think it's a Meetup app or whatever.
Yeah,
something.
Meetup. Mm-hmm.
And people just got to be willing to be open and kind of be trustworthy.
Right.
And let the chips fly where they fly, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
where they lay. I think we can move faster than what we think we can. That's got to be we got to get back to community. Everything got to be community based. And
Right.
when I say build, when you building for a goal, you already had that goal. That's why I say when all our relationships, these people always talk about relationships, we got to talk about marriage. Why marriage? It's a group, two people.
Right.
And why I say just two people at this time, because our community is so far behind, we don't need all this other stuff. We need to stay focused, because too many people bring more problems. You can deal with another person's problem.
Our community is quick to try to go out and do what everybody else do.
Or they like to say what they did. Black man had a bunch of wives way back then, but they was building a community.
Right.
So you need more wives,
Right.
so they can have more kids.
Yeah.
So they can build up their community or tribe or whatever it was called back then.
Right.
So they can build it up to have something.
Right.
We got a lot of stuff. Now we need to fix our problems, and get all this trauma out, as much trauma we can, and build from there. And then if we want to start another communities outside, then you can have your 2, 3, 4 wives or 4 or 5 husbands, however you want to do it.
Right.
Because you got what you need.
Yeah, yeah.
But we so far behind, we can't do this. It's
Not
not
now.
the time for it. Nah.
Not now.
Not the time for it. Cause I be looking like, man, everybody talk about themselves. Oh, I can protect, my kids can do this, or protect ourselves. But them folks come and get you. Can't protect yourself, it take a group.
Right.
Cause they ain't coming on the ground, just on the ground. They come in the air, over here, over there.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, water. It takes a village, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a war on us. What we gonna do?
What are we gonna do, Ant? What are we gonna do, brother?
We gonna come together, man. I got hope and belief we gonna come together.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I ain't the only one thinking like this.
Well, in the meantime, we keep dropping these podcasts.
That's true. So like, subscribe with a blueprint. Go support my boy's shirt.
LegacyOverLust.com. LegacyOverLust.com. Oh, I gotta get some homework too. So your homework was for everybody to go out there and join up with somebody, build your resources. I'm assuming what you're saying.
Build your resources up.
Y'all pool y'all money together.
You can
pool
do
your
that.
brain power, ideas. Execute together.
If you want to buy some stocks together, not buy it together, but put some money in some stocks to help your money grow, and say, well, whatever we make, we buy some land, put some down payment on some land or building, whatever y'all want to do it that way.
Right.
Let your money make money so you can buy other stuff. It ain't got to be the money out your pocket. There's many ways to make money with your own money.
Right.
So do it that way too.
And my homework is don't be intimidated. Go out, something you want to do, go on and do it. You want to get a house, go on and fill out the application. Your credit score might not be all that great, but just do it anyway so they can at least give you something to work on. Tell you what or you may get surprised and get approved for it.
That's true.
So don't be listening to other people either. Be
No.
bad information out here.
It's a lot of bad
Just because
information.
somebody can't do something on their own, they tell you you can't do it either.
And that's another thing too. That's
We listen to
bad
the
in the
wrong
community.
people.
Because that's what they going through. Don't put what you going through on me. We're
Yeah.
totally different people.
Right.
Like your plan is not my plan.
Mm-mm.
Your favor is not my favor. Because you got God's favor.
God's favor. God's plan.
God's plan.
All right, we the Blueprint. Peace out.
Peace.